Good evening, how are we doing, guys? Welcome. Hope we're all doing well. Right, it's our pre-release stream of Nottingham to Lincoln, so quite exciting one really, because we're virtually there. All those weeks of doing all the building and that, we finally made it towards the virtually at the finish line now. So not much longer, and you guys can get hold of it yourselves. So what we're going to do tonight is we're gonna do a drive of the route. We're going to do between Lincoln and Nottingham, and then stop at all places along the way, showing you bits and pieces, and you're going to see some new stuff that you haven't seen. So obviously last week we did a drive between here and Newark North getting back. So we're going to go further beyond the flat crossing this evening to Nottingham. So there'll be quite a lot more that you haven't seen in terms of driving. You'll have seen bits obviously when we've flown in various areas, but they weren't actually finished anyway. So yeah, quite a lot to show, got lots to go through. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for joining. We start off at Lincoln. We're going to a 156 for our journey today. We're going to do 2 Lima 60, which is one of the scenarios which comes with the route itself, but this will continue down to Leicester, so it is actually a 100-minute scenario. It's quite a long one. So before we get on with it, we'll say some hellos. Who's in? A2 Tornado, good evening. Evening Alarm Kid. East Midlands Rail fan, good evening as well. JB, good evening. Jake Fuller, good evening. East Midlands Railway fan as well. How are we doing? Josh Trains, good evening. Peter Dell, good evening. Zach Randall and Sean, good evening. I see Sean's off the line and nod, unfortunately. that's the awkwardness of being in Australia. But thanks for popping in, and hope you can catch up with it maybe tomorrow. Rob Powell, good evening, and Sim Games 2, round night also. How we doing? Who else we got? Prof McMouse is here, good evening. Scott's in as well, good evening. Benedict, good evening. Joseph, good evening. Anthony Wright, good evening over on Facebook. Thank you for joining. Aaron Key Smith as well, good evening. Excellent. I've got a hello in there. Good stuff. Take it easy, mate. Good to see you there. Right, good morning, driver. Today you're in charge of 2 Lima 60, the 1036 Lincoln to Leicester service. You've got 156415 as your rostered unit throughout. Please open your doors and allow the passengers to board whilst you set up your cab. Your GSMR details are 2L16. Your signal is LG7833. Evening, Chris Jackson. Fabruni90, thank you for the follow, and good evening to anyone else who's popped in and just joined us. GJW there as well. Who else we got there? Positively, Hansi Hannah Raystrick, good evening as well. Right. So before we get started, we'll have a little look around Lincoln, just to show you. You may not have actually seen it. You'll have seen it in screenshots, but a few bits have been added since last week, a few minor bits and pieces. I think the castle was actually there, to be quite honest, last week, but there is actually one new feature, which is the bomber command. So if you look at the distance, you may just make out a little pointy object in the distance. If I scroll in there a little bit more, there is actually some trees there. It hasn't loaded them in. Come on, TS, play the game. Just because on the hill there they are. So you can see the bomber command up there. That is quite a recent addition in the actual real world as well. It only came in sort of around the time the route's set, so it fits in really nicely, and it makes for a nice view when you look over in that distance. And on the platform you can see it as well. You can literally see it. There's a gap in the trees, and it makes for a nice view. Evening, Jack. It is as well, yeah, it is an odd one. It's quite an interesting little piece of architecture as well. There's a few little features in the route. I'm not going to show you them all because we like you to find these things as well. But there is another memorial sort of thing dotted around in Lincoln, so I'll leave it for you to go searching. But it's quite a cool one, nonetheless. So you do have to go searching for it. Right. So let's have a look around the station first of all. So for anyone that did miss this last week, the station itself is virtually the same. There may have been a couple of little additions that have gone in. One that was pointed out on our stream last week is the old AWS button, whatever that does. We don't actually know what it does. There's a wire. We saw there's a wire on a picture that goes up there, so we don't actually know what it is, but what it does. If someone does know, would love to know and its operation. It's quite an interesting little feature, so it was just nice to get that in there. So thank you. I think it was Jake actually pointed that one out. So yeah, thank you. And I think you posted the picture as well. Go and press it, Benedict. You're going there, aren't you? So find out what it does and report back to us. You've got Pelham Street over here. You've got the feeder lines. A bit more track's been added into these just for AI purposes on scenarios. So there's, I think, another mile of track on each of these, so you can put a lot of AI in if you wish to do so. You've got the sidings there as well, which have the old tip, whatever, scrapyards here. We did originally have this fenced over, but I removed the fence, so I thought it might actually be worth leaving it unfenced if someone wants to make a scenario coming from there. So there is that on that one. So yeah, that is this end of the route. It's used as like rail tours and stuff for LNER as well, that is. Release date, we're not going over that just yet. But the release is set for this week. Later on in the week, I'm not going to give you the set perfect day because in case anything goes wrong and we put back like here and there. But it is this week. So all I say is keep your eye out on Facebook, keep your eye out on the website, and if you haven't done, go to the development site on justtrains.net, and you can sign up for the email on there. And by doing that, you will get a notification when the route releases, so you won't miss it as well. So it's always handy actually sign up to that. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just literally a quick sign up to it, and it'll put you into a list for an email. It's a couple of moments of your time to do that, especially if you're eager to get hold of it. So yeah, Lincoln Station itself. Scott's just notified in there, so yeah, the price is $15.99. I'm going to cover over bits and pieces. I mean, a lot of stuff I'm going to go over is actually on the website, but I will cover it just for the people that may not have seen it all on that. Let's get ourselves set up as well. So, we got the key in. DRM for a moment. Right, get some doors open. Let's pop some lights on as well, because that would be very handy. Destination is already set on the scenarios for you on stuff like the 156 and possibly, I think maybe, I'm not sure if there's a 222 scenario, it may have it already set for you, but definitely on the 156 if we have them set up ready, you just have to put your GSMR stuff into it. So 2 Lima 60 and the signal I'm going to put 833 because you only put 3 out of the 4 in. So we'll go with that. Evening, Rob Holt. So it's a 36-mile route, so yeah, $15.99 for 36 miles. What else do you get in there? So you're going to get 15 standard scenarios which utilise the realistic liveries and rolling stock. There's 12 of those that have been done to default, which use the European Low Classic Pack as we usually do. 2 free roams, and it's quick drive compatible, so we've added more of those in. Route itself is 36 miles, as I just said. The route comes with 15 stations as well throughout the route, which you're going to see this evening. Stations such as Lincoln, Haikum, Swinderby, Collingham, Newark Northgate, Newark Castle, Rolliston, Fiskerton, Bleasby, Ferguton, Loudham, Burton Joyce, Carlton, Netherfield, and Nottingham. Nottingham isn't exactly new. It was obviously featured on the last extension, which was 2 previous DNL, Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. But obviously that is a starting point for this route itself. There will be a standalone as well. That isn't going to release at the same time as the extension. We have to do a few bits and pieces to get that ready and up and running. So we'll do more on that in the coming weeks. It won't be too far off, I don't think, behind its heels, but we'll cover that in due course. Okay, that hasn't gone to plan, has it? Why is that not working? There we go, it's working now. So obviously with TS, it's one of these things you do have to just slightly roll the train to get the crossings to start working. Otherwise, once they've dropped down, go for it. How many miles? It's about... Oh, I can tell you soon, can't I? Hang on. Rather than guess that one, because it's a little bit, obviously, off the main total. 33 miles from where we are currently, so... So we've got these home signal bots there, and obviously the the iconic view as you go down here. It's very enclosed, very claustrophobic as well. One of my favourite views on the route is this. It's with the cathedral and the castle in the background there. You've got the Odeon and everything on the wharf. Right. Next station's Haikum. So on this service we're going to be calling it Haikum, Swinderby, Collingham, Newark Castle, and then Nottingham. But for the stations what we ain't calling that, I will stop at, and well, not stop at as in with the train, but I'll pause the game, we'll have a look around and show you. Oh, to Leicester, sorry. So to Leicester, 60 miles, just shy of 61 from where we are now. Tom Maddox, good evening, thank you for your like. So down to 30, go to Neville Junction area now. Got Triangle Junction. There's been scenery added in so you can at least use the full triangle. As I know, Steam Tours I think use this quite a bit if you're going to turn there. Got Network Rail Centre on the right hand side here as well. Just continue, that would eventually take you to Sheffield, the back road I think you call it, or the old road, something like that. Very tree lined around this part of the route. See the extent of the city sprawling up the hill there. You literally loop around yourself in this part of the route. Randomly as well, there's an old water tower sat there, so that's that features as well. Tom Sharple, good evening. How are we doing? So we can get a good shot of the rail traffic in that spot there behind the university when it isn't so vegetated in the middle. That's cool. I've been to Lincoln like once or twice. I remember seeing some stuff off the car park on the wharf. This was years ago, but I've only ever been there like once or twice. This was ages ago. So you can see the command there as well, just to get on the curve. Seen by all areas. You've got the incinerator in the distance at Haikum. You may just be able to make it out alongside with the flats. I did, Spaghetti Raver. I saw your message you sent me. Happy. I'm glad that you got that sorted. So you know, one train you can prepare ready for the route, one scenario you can prepare for the release. What are you preparing to do there, East Midland? What are you looking forward to doing the most? When is this released, Jonathan? It will be this week. It will be later on this week, so do keep your eye out. Before the release as well, there's going to be 2 updates. One's going to be to the Sheffield Derby base route, and the other will be for Derby, Nottingham and Leicester. This is compatibility updates, which just enables everything to work properly. So we'll obviously you'll get notified via the email system when that goes as well. 70 now, although we'll be slowing down, stopping at Haikum in 1.5 now. Happy days, Tom, thank you. Glad to hear you're liking the look of it. How do we obtain the alarms? I have no idea. Will's the developer of the level crossings. He sorted all that out. I'm not quite sure. Any freight along the route? There is freight on this route. Yeah, you do get. There's coal workings and there is also oil tank workings. I think one of the workings comes down here is the Lindsay Oil Refinery stuff. pretty sure of that one. And I think there is also stuff that goes into Ratcliffe Power Station from Immingham, which happens daily. Those workings actually happened when we came and researched the route as well. So it was quite cool to see. We've got the incinerator over there. It's quite a big building. Dominates this skyline around here as you come around. And there's quite a long LOD on that as well, so you do see it for quite a while. I'll start slowing down here. Haikum Station's just coming up. Westside, good evening and happy days. We're happy to hear that. Very excited to get it out to you. We're just doing all the last final bits and pieces now, all the preparation. It's quite a short platform. This is a staggered arrangement, so this side's I'll show you in a second when we stop. So on this side it's more floating platforms, as you can see. On the other side it's more the older arrangement. Ignore the cars. We will have that looked into and sorted. There is a bit of a bug with TS, unfortunately, and I've seen it across a lot of routes out there where sometimes they'll actually stop at crossings and sometimes they won't. I've driven this scenario this morning and they all stopped and behaved themselves just for some strange reason. They're not doing that now, so just ignore that. Just close your eyes on that one. We'll have that looked into. How many scenarios? So you've got 15 standard, which are using the more realistic locos, rolling stock, DMUs and all that stuff. And then you'll have 12 of those which will be made as well into default, which use the European Loco Asset Pack. There's also 2 free roams, and there is also quick drive, so you can drive whatever you desire if you want something a bit more obscure. Some of the crossings we've relayed and sometimes they'll work and then sometimes on odd occasions they'll just not. It's a bit hit and miss, unfortunately. But again, we'll have another look into that. I'll see what I can do with it and check it over. It won't be forgotten about. So what haven't I covered here? What have we got? Actually, I've covered all the things, but I will go over it again a little bit later into the drive. Next stop is Swinderby, which is 4.3 miles away. Mike Hopton, Josh Hempton, and Mick Johnson. Also Nils Westerman and Jonathan Schre. Thank you very much for the likes over at Facebook. Good evening. Lots of water on this route. A lot of fishing ponds and stuff like that, along with the rivers. Especially at this end of the route, it's literally, you won't go far without seeing water. Other new little details which we've gone for this time is stuff like the bridge plates. So those have got the correct numbers for the bridges and stuff in them as well. Just a new little feature. Hopefully we'll be able to go back and revisit some of the older MML routes and service pack and add some of these little features in. These little bits and pieces. There will be quick drives on release, Zach, yes. Certainly. For this route to work, you will need to have Sheffield to Derby, the base route, and then Derby Nottingham and Leicester, the extension. The standalone will not work. You can't add this extension onto the standalone. Again, there will, however, be a standalone version. It just won't release at the same time as when this does. We need to do a little bit of work. We need to clone and tweak a few bits and pieces before we get that up and running. But we can't do that until we finalise, obviously, the extension. Cool little area here. Got loads of these crossing houses, shall I say. I'm going to pause that a second. So there's loads of really ornate houses along the route. And you'll see a lot of these. And they've been beautifully recreated by Callum and Benedict. I'm not sure if Will's done the houses or not, but I know them. The other two definitely have put their touch onto these houses. The pub as well. Some really nice houses. I'd love to live at something like this, next to a level crossing, a nice little house like that. What more could you want? But yeah, there's also, it's not just bungalows either. There's some quite big houses. We shall see. Rob Powell, thank you. This is Thorpe on the Hill. I've had a bad area for mobile reception. I'll be sure if I'm ever in the area. Not too far from Swindon now, about 1.8 miles. Just coming into view on the HUD. We're going for a new approach with the whistle boards as well. They actually are now track linked, so you can actually see where the whistle boards appear on the HUD with the signals. Again, something we look to into the older products again. So we'll go over those and add in what we can, so it's more in line with everything moving forward. There will be some service pack stuff for other bits and pieces after the releases. We do aim to go back and look at stuff. So one of the things, just bear with us on that, and we'll update you on that moving forward. The TrackLink whistle boards only came in for this route, so yeah, Benedict put those together. So I think they may have actually came in sort of at the back end, just after South Western Expressways, so sort of on the release week of that, or just after. So we will look at working and stuff like that, and we can get stuff in. I just think they had a little bit more as well, so you can actually see what's coming, especially if you're not overly sure on the area, so you sort of get your route learning going. The only area as well, the route where there's some semaphores left. The route was very heavily covered with semaphores many years back, but they re-signalled a lot of the route, especially on the other side of the Newark Flat Crossing. It's all like ILS signalling and stuff now. Another thing we've done, which I know a few people have mentioned, there's been some fixes to the signals, so you can actually see them at better visibility now. There were, I think they had a 300-metre range on them or something like that, where they sort of came to view, so these have been highly increased. So your nighttime driving, you should see signals a lot further away now, which is a lot handier. So Will's worked on those as well during this project. So that will go across on the Common Library when you get the Sheffield Derby update. That's where the Common Library comes. This is Swinderby. Oh, Swinderby due for re-signaling next year, is it? Ah, I'm glad we've got some semaphores, to be fair. It's nice to see them. Even this is just 4. I think it's 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. There's 4. There's literally 2 over there and 2 at the other end of the station. But yeah, it's a shame it's not fully with semaphore, really. It's I do like semaphores. Alarm Kid will pass on the feedback, don't worry. Got the box there. Got semaphore cable reels as well going through. With the level crossing barriers and the speed, it's most likely it'll be something that will go to service pack 1. We will sort that. We'll look into it all, but I will pass on the feedback. It's a bit more than just a quick tweak. I think it'll involve reanimating and stuff like that, so it would push times and releases back. So unfortunately, it'll be one of the things we'll move it in there and we'll sort it. Don't worry, it won't be forgotten about. Semaphore if you watch, if I get into view, if you keep your eye on that semaphore, you can watch the animation on there. All the rigging works, all the arms there move, and the wheel even spins as well on it. So there's some cool animation going on there. Got another one here. This is a bit different. This one's a bit more of the modern type of on the post. They've upgraded this one, put a new cage on. It looks a bit more like a lamppost as well, with on the post on that one compared to the older style there. Really cool. I love the weathering that will. I think this possibly could have been one of the first things that he dabbled into substance with as well. Some of the earlier bits. Will's been learning substance along the way with this project, and he's put his mark onto some of the stuff with that as well. So as you can see there, all the rust and stuff. So Collingham's the next station, 2.2 miles away. Cottage Lane. Is that just before Collingham? It's not this one, is it? Which one's this? That's South Scarl. There's no one of the crossing houses. Welsom here, just to show you. So as you see, there's loads of different ones. Yeah, I think Cottage... Oh, is Cottage Lane the Skew Crossing? I'm trying to remember which one that is. Is it the one on the Skew? On the main road? Yeah, I know which one you mean. We drove on that one. We came back actually that way when we did the research trip. We went to... where was it? We went to... somewhere. On the other route to Sheffield, we went to the Chippy about one of the stations. Yeah, I'll do that for you, certainly. So is it you wanting to do a drive-by at Cottage Lane? Is that what you wanted? Yep, I'll sit at that crossing and we'll do the whole thing there. Not a problem. It is, yeah, half barrier ones, yeah. Yeah, I'll have a little flight because there's a couple of different crossings as well. Mark may well be with the dog somewhere. I don't know if he's placed himself anywhere. No doubt he's done some form of Easter egg somewhere. Quite an interesting bit this as well. It's a real open, long stretch of track. Yes, it's 50 mile an hour. It's literally 50 mile an hour now till I think just after the flight crossing. So whether it's been tamped for a lower speed or something, I'm not too sure. Service pack basically is anything that comes up after release, so if any issues come through via our support team, we then go and obviously address those things and just fix them up. That's what happens. So that basically you'll get your service pack 1 is like, it comes usually quite quick after. We keep an eye out for anything that crops up, and we'll just get on top of it and put all those fixes together. A bit like we did with South Western Expressways Reading, like a couple of weeks after we released that. So we hope there's not many issues or any at all. But if anything does arise, then we do address those things. We don't forget about them. Same with just stuff like anything that you may have picked up tonight. We will keep note of that, and if we don't have the time to do it obviously now, we'll put that into that category and we'll go back and do them bits and pieces. It's just one of them things that depend on the time now, time scales and stuff. So this is Collingham. I'll just go a quick pause. Potentially, if we have the right crossings, if we had those models, we can put them in. It's something we might be able to do, yeah. It depends really on the time scale. It depends on how much we have to do for service pack. It could be maybe a week or two, who knows. It just depends on what we have to do, really. We won't give you an exact day. It just happens when it happens. Jar Gaming 4, thank you for the follow. Good evening. Signal box at Loudon needs moving. Where to? It's actually not on the station on the area that we're focusing on, Jordan. I'll go and have a look at Cottage Lane, yeah, certainly. I'll go. It's just starting off now, and go. Just in time. Evening, Robbo. 1 to 5 as well. Good evening. Dean McGregor, can I just confirm once this is out, and if a person buys Sheffield to Derby, they'll get the common library that comes out with this? Yes, certainly. There is an update due for Sheffield to Derby, hopefully tomorrow, all being well. Just got a sanity check it all, just check everything over, that make sure it's all working, and then we can release that. I've got the builds, I've just got to test them. I'm not running on the installers yet, I'm running on my dev build, which is the same as the installers, just haven't put them in yet. It's not out yet. It will be releasing this week, 125. And the update is for compatibility, basically, just to make sure everything works. There you go. Big update for the common library. There's a lot of new stuff in there, so I'm sure you'll have fun. If you're a route builder, you'll have plenty to play with. So the sugar factory in the distance there as well now, just coming up into view. Oh, there's loads of new stuff. It's far too much for me to name. Hundreds of bits and pieces. Loads. You'd have to just, if you were a route builder, you'd have to skim through it all and search. loads of little bits and pieces. I'm doing a little bit more than what I should be down here. A bit carried away. Slow that down a bit. How do you make the installers for routes? I have no idea. We have a man that does all that within the team. So we send off our route via an RWP. They go to the man who does the installs, and he does his magic, and he'll create that. It's not my area of knowledge, unfortunately. I've never dabbled in that. We're not too far from the flat crossing. All the crossing houses there. Hey up, Benedict. Hello again. The River Trent. I believe it's River Trent. It must be the River Trent. River Trent goes all over this route. Branches off over there as well. It goes in two different directions and then joins back up again. Up near Stateful Viaduct. We was doing the Highland route, but that was unfortunately cancelled. So at the moment, there's no plans on anything Scottish. Oh, that sounds good, Rob. Love to see Nottingham and Grantham. Can always pass that on. What I'll do as well, whilst we're around this area, we'll get past the flat crossing, and I will just have a quick fly down to Newark. Northgate, that is. If you've got an issue with those alarm kit, if you send a ticket to support with the issue you're experiencing, that'll come to us and we can have a look into that. So you've got a small section of this part on the East Coast Main Line. You get about a mile that way, mainly for AI feeding. You wouldn't drive that way really, because it just goes to portals. Same again after the station. This mainly just gives you the chance to drive the shuttle services and the stuff that starts here and goes back around to Peterborough via Lincoln. And other stuff I think goes to Grimsby Town, I think, as well. That is the East Coast Main Line. Yeah, this is East Coast Main Line where we're at the minute, Newark Northgate. Evening, Dan. How are we doing? Oh, the wires aren't loading because I've just come flying down here. Hang on. There is wires. And they decide to turn up. There they go. They're coming in now. Just gone flying up the route. So we drove down to this station last week on our first little showing, and then we went back again to Lincoln. Hang on a second, everything's loading in still because I've come flying down. Try that. So the route ends just over there in the distance, so that's more again as an AI feeder section. So you can start down that end of the route and you can come in there and then drive to Lincoln. Come through here onto the station. Give you a quick little view of that. There you go. Right, back in the cab because otherwise we'll miss the speed drop in a second. Newark Castle is the next station. So everything now you haven't seen drive-wise. You'll see me building areas around here, up as far as Stateful Viaduct. Everything after the viaduct is on Mark section, so we'll have flown around bits and pieces. You'll have seen bits, but never continuously as a drive. Tom, you'd love to see Leicester to Birmingham in the game one day, being a Leicester lad. We can pass the suggestion. Potentially, Jake. There is some scenarios as well that actually hold you at the flat crossing, so you do actually have to wait for some of the high-speed stuff to pass it, which is quite cool. It's nice to see what people would like to have added onto this, and it's nice to see that the Midland Main Line is so well received. It's one of them routes that can just go anywhere, and the possibilities are endless. Well, endless to some point, eventually would be ended. But yeah, there's so many places you can go and take it. So this is Newark Castle. Well, the end would probably be when you get to Land's End. Got a couple of minutes here. Yeah, we're into time. So I've got. I don't leave here till 6 minutes past. So we have enough time to leave the game running and actually have a little look around. Got the castle as well. There's the bridge. Sugar Factory dominates the scene in this area. We've been branching out though quite recently, Scott. Off the main. Got the auction house there as well, and the district council building. Oh, do you play Tracing World, PS5? Oh, bang on time. There's a great station north of Sheffield. I wonder where that could be. Is that I don't think where that is. Is that York? Next station is Nottingham, but there is many stations that we're going to pass by. We'll take a look at these. Stations left that we haven't been through yet are Rolliston, Fiskerton, Bleasby, Ferguson, Loudham, Burton Joyce, Carlton. We'll have a look at Netherfield. We're not going through there, but we'll look at it and then arriving at Nottingham. Richard Alsop, definitely adding this to the rest of the route. Worked over it many, many times. Now I can do it with a beer on the go. Happy days. Is Rolison Crossing? I have no idea. I have no idea where that is. Not one I've heard of. It's definitely not on the section I've worked on. Oh, there you go, it's on Lincoln Peterborough. So it's 30, and then it goes back up to 60. So if you're running on a NRN, which we aren't, we have the NRN boards as well, where they change over. So they change over here, which is 61 going back that way, and they change to 31 in that direction as well. They're not track link ones, but you can at least change your NRN if you have one in your cab. Yeah, I believe they're still there. They were on the cab ride, and we used Don Coffey's cab ride, which is 2017-18 area. Back up to 60 at the minute, so as you can see, the differences in speed all over the place. Stateful Power Station. Used to be loads of sidings here as well. Where these trees are on left and right, these used to be goods yards for the old power station. You can see where the old ballast paint and all that is. So those have sort of been replicated on what's. Well, there's nothing there, no track or anything. But if you look at, on Flickr at Staythorpe, you can see some old photos of what it used to look like. Pretty interesting. There's a lot of track. There's probably more than one in proper for horn use from me. I just blast it wherever, mate. I'll try and do it right. Back out here. Stateful Crossing. So this is where the sidings sort of join back onto this line. They branched off either side. Oh, I got a bit of I like a bit of two-tone, mate. Right, so station's coming up. It's somewhere over here, if I remember correctly. So the first one is Rolison. Rhodesian sign around here as well. Rolison race course over there as well. Around the station. Anthony 23, thank you for the follow. Good evening. Just pause the game. A little look around here. So this is Rolison Station. Possibly I might not have actually shown this one at all on the streams. This was quite a late edition on the stations. One of the models that came in towards the end. I don't think it ever got shown at all. got the race course up there as well. I've not even looked at this yet. This literally came in the other day. It's quite cool. All sorts of bits and pieces. Very soon after, there's another station. They're quite close space, some of these. So the next station, I believe, is Fiskerton. It is Fiskerton. Quite a cool one, this is as well. This has got a really cool signal box. It's leaning. And Callum's replicated the leaning on the pause again. So what we'll do is we'll stop and pause and stuff. Because we ain't calling at the stations, so... Fiskerton Station itself. This was the last station that I came to on the first research trip. This was the last station I think we came to before we called it a day, because it actually got quite late on. How many AHBs does the route? I've no idea. I know the route's got something like 34 level crossings, not even including foot crossings. There is a fair amount of crossings. So this is the cool box. You can see the bend on it. It literally leans. I couldn't quite believe it when we came here, and Mark goes, "Well, have you seen the box?" Like, well, no, it leans. I was never seen that like it. I thought they'd knock this down, but it obviously doesn't impose as much of a threat because it's like away from the track. So yeah, Callum modelled it and managed to skew it all and give it that look. Prof, not a problem, and Philip Marshall, thank you for the like. Good evening. Don't forget, with Midland Main Line, you've got Hope Valley to come in the earlier half of next year. If you look at the route now. So obviously our route is focused on this side. Lincoln, Newark, Nottingham. It's definitely not going to notice alarm kid. Got Bleasby next. It's been overall though, it's been quite an enjoyable project, this one. It's been really nice and easy going in terms of like the terrain, because it's been such a flat route as well. It's just been nice to not have that stress of having to mould all the terrain and stuff like that. It's been quite an easy one to work with. I think Mark's probably had the most awkward part in terms of like terrain, which was just around the Nottingham area. Could we see the Robin Hood line at any point? Who knows? Who knows? As we always say, we never say never. There's always potential. This is Bleasby. Again, another staggered platform. You're allowed to modify, yeah. You can modify for your personal use. You just ask that you don't. I mean, you can release stuff. It's just a case we just ask that you don't obviously release the assets. You just obviously release like you can do your modded files. People have done it before where they've done modifications, and as long as they don't distribute our items as such as the customs and common library assets and all that sort of stuff, modifying a scenery tile and call and get a patch is not an issue at the end of the day. As long as you're referencing that you do require the route and stuff like that. As long as you're not passing out, obviously, the payware side of bits and pieces, then there is no issue. But if it's just for personal, there's no issue at all either. Take the route down to Tamworth, Birmingham via Burton. What we got next? Who knows the next station? Because it is. I know which one. Who knows what the next station is we're going to pass? I shall not say. And we're coming up to it. So quick, get your votes in. I'm judged by the silence, no one knows. Thurgerton. No, we've done Rolliston, we've done Fiskerton. We've not got Lime Street. No, we're not that. We're not. No, you're miles out, Scott. You'd have to get a plane there. I call this one the station with a ghillie suit because it's got all the ivy up the side of it. I love this. It's really cool. It's different. It's mega. I call it the station with a ghillie suit just because it's like camouflaged. So again, it's one of these sort of houses that custom to the route. Bit of old signage still knocking about. There was that old sign that was there, so we got that in. But again, another unique building with its unique style as well. You can even get in the hot tub if you wish. So we're 9.4 miles still to Nottingham. It's about a quarter of an hour drive. Obviously a bit longer if he was doing all stations. I think the run if he was doing all stations between take you back to I'd say about 2 hours. Probably had another 20 minutes on if you're stopping everywhere by the time you've done it all. No set day. We're not going to give you the set day. It's just it will be this week. We don't want to give a set day just in case anything goes wrong. But tomorrow there will be Sheffield Derby and Derby Nottingham Leicester updates, the compatibility beforehand. The price is £15.99, Jake. John Dean, thank you very much for the follow. Good evening. More ponds. Something I actually haven't really covered as such. We've got some features of the route. This is just some. So between Nottingham and Lincoln, there's many features. Some to mention are Collitt Woods Court, which is the iconic-looking high-rise flats as you come away from the Nottingham area. You've got Neville Junction, Fiskerton Junction signal box, Stateful Crossing box, the power station at Stateful, and the viaduct alongside there. You've got Newark Castle and the British Sugar factory. You've also got the Neville viaduct with the flat crossing next to it. You're also at Loudon. So I'll go through the rest of that list in a minute. Let's give that a pause for a second, just have a look around it. This also opens up real good potential, because if you've got the Derwent Valley route, which is the Matlock one, you can also do a full service now from down at Matlock all the way through to Newark Castle. So that opens up potential there. Whereas before you could only do so much. Has the positive release of the South West Expressway really prompted any conversations about similar work on older JT routes? At the moment, it hasn't. It's not spoken about anything else like that. It's quite cool that it's hanging off. It was hanging off when we actually went to it, so Callum managed to model that in. What's that, Tom? As in, do you mean the Matlock and Newark Castles? Yet there is one in each direction for that. So providing you've obviously got the Derwent Valley, you'll have the scenery to do that there as well. So you can do the full run. Sorry, I was wondering what you were meaning there. There is a list there. Jack just put that link in there to the route. The scenario list is there. So you can have a look at that. Yeah, they don't actually do it now, do they, Newark and Matlocks? It's the crew. Not a problem at all there, Tom. You can do 153s as well. I think there's actually one that uses the 153 and the 158 working. A little bit different. One of the crossing houses there. The gatehouse. The cool thing is as well, these add-ons that we do with the extensions, they open up potential for the other ones as well, so you get a bit more out of each. This is Burton Joyce as well. Really cool feature with this one was when we came and had a look around, there was these old signal cable holders all along the back of this part of the platform. So we weren't overly sure whether there was a signal box sort of around this area or not in past years gone by. But it was just nice to see that these were still there and in place. It was just along this back of the garden here. It didn't go any further, but it was just nice to see it. A little bit of history. Go for a kickabout if you want as well. Oh, it could have been maybe to do with Colton, then may have been linked if the cables went that far. Yeah, Colton's the next station, which is just down there. Whether the cables would span that far, I don't know. There's loads as well of these crossing signs for if you run on the opposite line, which tells you if you ring that direction on this line, it's 40 miles an hour. The free scenario pack won't change. Those scenarios will stay as they are. Links straight to Park. Can you buy this route and buy Nottingham, Leicester, Derby at a later date and still join up? If you've got Sheffield to Derby, I think no, you can't because you need Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. You have to have Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. Sorry, I had to think about that then. Even though I did cover that earlier. No, you have to have DNL, Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. Unfortunately, because some of the assets we use are from that, and obviously Nottingham is involved from there. It uses that area to start off the route. Unfortunately, so yeah, you'd have to have both. This is Carlton. The kebab shop. Not a problem, Links. The Crossing Social Club. Is it not actually in Carlton? Is it more in Netherfield? Because obviously Netherfield Station is there. I assume Carlton's further up the hill. So there you go, that's Carlton. Whilst we're here, you should have loaded him. I'll just show you Netherfield whilst we're here. Trains that go this way are the stuff that goes towards Grantham and Skegness. This little part of the route was enabled and just added in just for the oil terminal because I think there were at one point a working that come down here, so it just meant you could drive the oil train in. Is it Norwich as well? Yeah, the Liverpool Norwich has come down here, sorry, as well. So you can actually, there's a bit more scenery over there. It sort of starts over there on the bridge. The oil terminal is here as well, but it's more of a feeder in there. You just sort of start your scenarios and come in this way. You wouldn't drive in that direction. You'd probably end your scenarios around this area here. On that. There you go. Jump back in the cab. It's not fully scenic. There's just enough there to allow you to drive in there. That part of the route is more of a just sit in the cab part. There's no point in flying around up that bit. It's just a little bit extra. Dark of Oz, good evening. Scott Lammy, thank you very much for the like just a few minutes ago as well. Good evening. This is Netherfield Junction. Level crossing indeed. We've got the sandstone cliffs as well at Collick, on the right hand side. Funny. Just under 2 miles into Nottingham now. Get the sandstorm on there. It'd be interesting to see if someone does connect routes together. Obviously, quite a big run that would be. Collick Tower. You can't miss the Collick Tower. So coming into Nottingham now, it's just logged in the tile there at the crossing. Get some quite nice views down here as well, depending on where the sun is. Huge tower. So this part here was where the Derby, Nottingham and Leicester route ended. It was just basic track and some trees down here. As you can see, it'll have hugely changed with all this. All these cool bridges. Ball by a tree. There's a lot of old bridges around here as well. Sort of old abutments and stuff left in. There's another one there as well. I know there was a lot more railway infrastructure around here. We was looking at some old pictures earlier this week of just what the area was like. It was insane. So much. Yeah, the old GCR. So did it go down like the low level or something? Am I right as well? Yeah, I think we've got a bridge as well that goes around. There's an old bridge that we go under, which sort of ties in and comes in at Netherfield. That used to obviously go that way around as well. There's a lot of infrastructure around here. There was a big yard as well, weren't there, at Collick? Harley Davidson there as well. KFC. So Eastcroft. Oh, we've been getting Hope Valley questions for weeks and months, haven't we? So we are going to look at doing an in-dev set of photos once this is out as well. So we'll get a new update on that soon enough, as the progression is very good on there. So obviously this lot you'll have seen before. I think Mark's done a little bit of update work around it. I think he's added a bit more clutter in the depot area, I think. I seem to recall there's some new paths and stuff. A platform 4 for this. We are arriving slightly early. Only about 30 seconds or so, about a minute. I've just been told I'm not to mention any names at the moment. So I only do as I'm instructed, unfortunately. No doubt we'll be able to pass that information in time. So we're at Nottingham. So obviously Nottingham hasn't changed. Nottingham's still as it is. What we'll do, when's this train due to leave here? A few minutes. So what we'll do a bit of train spotting. If there's any questions as well, fire your questions away, guys. I'm happy to sit around and answer a bit. We'll cover some more bits again before I go. We'll just watch the trains go, because there's a few bits of stuff occurring here. I'll get into a better view. It's a short, platform 4 is a short platform, isn't it? So whilst we're just watching this lot, not that, I scrolled right in there. Hang on, that's what I wanted. Busy area, Alarm Kid, and my game's quite bloated, unfortunately. And I'm streaming as well, so that is another thing you've got to take into account. My streaming is also taking a bit of my computing processing power. So, things you need to know. Sheffield to Derby and Derby Nottingham and Leicester extension will have a update for compatibility, which is aiming to go live at some point tomorrow. So that's one thing that you'll need to do, is re-download and update them routes in readiness. You'll then get, later on in the week, we will release what you've just seen to the extension to Lincoln, Nottingham Lincoln. The price is £15.99. There will be a standalone, but that will not release on the same day. That will happen within the coming weeks. We'll cover that down the line once it's all sorted. The route comes with 15 standard scenarios, which uses the realistic liveries and rolling stock. 12 are default, which uses the European Local Asset Pack. There's 2 free roams, and there is also quick drive compatibility throughout. The route comes with 15 stations. It's 36 miles in length, and yeah. So what you've seen this evening is pretty much what you'll get, bar very minor changes at this point. The QD starting points are as what they were originally, and I think the new parts are here to go to Lincoln, Lincoln to here and beyond, and Newark Northgate to Lincoln, and that as well. My FPS currently 14, but obviously I am streaming. It would usually be a little bit more. Depends where I'm at. And there's a lot, if you think about it as well, there's a lot of trains here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially 10 trains in the station currently. If I go back that way, looking towards the depot, I'm getting about 20 at the minute there. It's just where it's very busy. Again, once you leave Nottingham, it rises back up again, and you go back into the higher FPS. It's just, it would have been such a busy area as well. Do I know why Trainsim doesn't support gaming laptops? I have no idea, unfortunately. That would probably be a question you would have to aim and direct towards Dovetail Games. Maybe drop them an email. Okay, thank you. Hope you've enjoyed it as well, guys. If there's any more questions, do fire away. The train is due to leave in about 3 minutes. So what we'll do, we'll just set the train off, and then we'll end the stream. If there's anything else you want to know. It's one of them as well. It's such a busy station, Will, and it's very fun to path trains in and out of. Definitely, Scott. Certainly for you. Busy. See if I can get a few more whilst we're here. Not tonight, Keith, no. Yeah, there was. There was a 222 service in here. I'm not sure which one it is. Let's have a look on the map. It's actually what its head code is. Map in ECS. No, it's 1 Bravo 41, Nottingham, St Pancras. It was timed as a 222 rather than a HST, although there is a HST in there as well. It's a busy station. It's quite a small platform really for the amount of traffic it sees. It sees a lot. Lots of stuff comes in and goes back out again quite soon though. Like stuff for the Robin Hood line on platform 1. Off. Right. I'll leave it there because we've got a red still. It's 34. Oh, look at that. So that's not changed. Otherwise, we'd have driven off. Samuel A, good evening. Unfortunately, we're just ending. So, unfortunately, you've just missed, but you can watch back. So, all the information's there. Do head to the Just Trains website, justtrains.net. Go to the development page, you can get through to the Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. Derby, Nottingham, Leicester. Sorry, Nottingham and Lincoln extension. Sign up to the email on there if you haven't done. You'll get an email when the route goes live, so you do not miss that. Thank you, as always, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you for your questions, and thank you very much for the kind messages, and also the feedback. The feedback will be noted, and we'll be able to do what we can with that moving forward. We'll be back again next week with something. I don't know what we're doing. Does it release at midnight on the release date? No. It'll be in the daytime. We'll be in bed on the midnight. Tucked up. No, it'll be in the daytime at whenever we do release it, so just keep your eye out in the day. Couldn't say. Random time. It'll just happen when it's ready. On that. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and we'll see you again next week. And once obviously the route releases, we hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for the support over the last weeks. Also watching the route building. Take care, and we'll see you later on. Bye for now.